It's weird. It's really weird. It's going to be completely different. You can admit it, college football faithful. Not seeing Nick Saban on the sidelines at Bryant-Denny Stadium, breaking the hearts of nearly every SEC program on a Saturday afternoon is going to be a different feel. But somebody's got to replace the 7-time national champion and the greatest to ever do it in Titletown. And it won't be Dan Lanning. He just announced he ain't going anywhere and that he is sticking his roots in Eugene, Oregon. So where does the direction turn next? More than likely, I would say to Austin with Steve Sarkisian. Why would Sark be the next head coach at Alabama? But what could be the caveat keeping him back? That's what we're here to discuss. But if you are new, welcome on into the channel. My name is Cole Thompson. I'm a radio show host based in Houston, and I talk college football daily. So if this is the type of content you enjoy, plus a ton more extra stuff that we got planned, simply because the clock has struck 0 on 2023, does not mean we are going from 100 to 0 doing content. Every single day we'll have videos for you talking about 2023, a look ahead to 2024, the biggest coaching search since 2007. So make sure you smash that subscribe button down below. Leave a comment telling me your thoughts on, is Steve Sarkisian the right guy to replace Nick Saban? Tell your friends, your family, your mortal enemies, your best of bros, the drunk dude passed out in a Waffle House parking lot, Longhorn fans, the Alabama faithful, and college football aficionados everywhere about this channel, because we're on the race to become the #1 show talking about our favorite sport. Go ahead and give me a follow on social media at Mr. Cole Thompson. That way, conversations surrounding college football never have to stop flowing. Steve Sarkisian is in a really good spot. I just want to make this abundantly clear. And before we go into that, just remember, coaching searches are a lot like, I would say, a plot of Sherlock Holmes. You think you know who's going to get the job, and then at the last second, something changes, and you're like, damn, oh, he was a candidate? I didn't even know that. And so maybe you're not hearing enough about Steve Sarkisian right now simply because of how good he has it. And he does have it good. There are very few programs that are able to establish the type of poignancy as a Texas. Texas is, in my opinion, one of the elite jobs in college football. And when done properly, it without question is a blue blood type program that consistently will be punching out conference titles, making it to the college football playoff, and hoisting up national championships. But it takes the right guy to lead the helm. Gonna tell you straight, Steve Sarkisian. You are not going to find much better than what you have currently in the third-year Longhorns coach, making the jump back to the SEC for the first time since 2020. But there is reason why he would be a candidate at Alabama. For starters, relationship with Greg Byrne. Byrne is having to make a game-altering hire for the first time in his tenure in the most important sport in the Yellowhammer State. Case in point, this is a career-defining move for him. So naturally, you want to make sure you have all your ducks in a row and you have it made official on what you're looking for in a coach. Steve Sarkisian crosses off a lot of boxes. #1, former Nick Saban disciple. Served as an offense coordinator for 2 years. Before that, was an analyst in 2017. #2, results speak for themselves. And I'm not talking about the ones in the 40 acres. I'm talking about the ones at Alabama. Guy led the offense to a #2 and #3 scoring unit in back-to-back seasons, had Devonta Smith become the first pass catcher to win the Heisman Trophy since Desmond Howard struck the pose in 1991, turned Mac Jones in from a game manager to a Davey O'Brien Award winner and top 15 pick in the draft, got Najee Harris to become a Doak Walker Award winner, countlessly sent multiple players to the NFL, and established a poignancy that really has not been able to duplicate in Tuscaloosa over the last 3 years. And it's partially why Alabama is still looking for its first national title since Sarkisian took the job down in the 40 acres. I remember back when Steve was working on the staff at Alabama, and I talked to some people during the Iron Bowl. And in large part, the reason why Sark got the call to run the show that day when Nick was out with COVID, there was an inclination that a lot of people thought that he was just going to be waiting around unless a premier job opened up and he would eventually take over. And so once he got the win, I think that changed the course for a lot of different things. Auburn certainly had to be interested, but lo and behold, Texas was waiting on closed doors. 11th hour comes around. You hear about Tom Herman fired, and within about 45 minutes, you hear that Steve Sarkisian's on a flight to Tuscaloosa, from Tuscaloosa to Austin. So they knew at that time Sark was special. But Texas is special. The thing about Texas is it's a lot like Oregon, but different in a sense. Oregon has the resources, the funds, the net gain, the profitability, the stadium, the atmosphere, the ambiance to be able to establish a great culture for the long-term run as they make the jump over to the Big Ten. Make no mistake about it. Dan Lanning turning down Alabama is basically him closing the door on every chapter of him not in Eugene, Oregon. This is the next Mike Bellotti. He will be there for the long haul. He will be establishing his own identity. And I can tell you this much, ladies and gentlemen, you think the Ducks are not going to be a contender in the Big Ten come 2024? You're quackers. You are absolutely out of your mind to think of what this roster looks like and what is continuously coming into the program on the recruiting trail. You'd be insane to think that a team like Oregon can't be successful. And make top 3, you're going to the college football playoff. But Texas also has that same type of mantra with the blue blood feel. You will turn down a job for a place like Oregon. You will turn down a job for a place like Michigan and like USC and like Oklahoma. And you can probably throw Florida State and Clemson into there. There are probably only 2 jobs where you say thanks, but no thanks to when it comes to Alabama. And most people are probably going to go, yeah, you know what? I couldn't get that one. Number 1 is Ohio State. Number 2 is Texas. The resources that are found abundantly throughout the Longhorn State and throughout the Lone Star State is second to none. The resources that Sark will be able to have when it comes to recruiting, to be able to develop, to be able to expand horizons and transform this program from an up-and-comer in the SEC to the face of the conference within 3 seasons is second to none. There are the burnt orange and white faithful ready to funnel millions of dollars into the Texas One Fund to be able to land whoever the hell they want. And they know that once they join the SEC, that big, bold, yellow and blue logo will carry weight. More weight than the Longhorn logo already carries. And it is the flagship of this great state of Texas. But it's a program that if you turn an Alabama down, you're probably saying to yourself, you know what? I understand it. Definitely wouldn't go with it, but I understand it. There is a sense that that is what Steve Sarkisian could be thinking right now. I have it made. I have everything I need to be successful here for a long run and for a prosperous tenure in the SEC. Top 5 recruiting class back-to-back years. Recently landed 2 elite players defensively via the transfer portal and a number 1 worthy wide receiver that strutted his stuff every weekend in the AAC and made an impact when he was at Houston. I have a quarterback returning in Quinn Ewers, and I have an up-and-comer in Arch Manning that may be the best name to ever come out of the college football ranks. I have great running backs. I have a good defense. I have a solidified coaching staff. And more importantly, I have the backing from the boosters to have whatever I want. He could be saying that, and it would be justifiable. It would. And then on the flip side, you have to wonder, well, I don't get this start. I don't get this career. I don't get this opportunity if I don't humble myself and work for Nick Saban. I owe Nick Saban a debt of gratitude because at one point, nobody would hire me. Nobody wanted to take a risk on a coach that recently went through some bad times down at USC and eventually really hurt his persona in the world of college football. But Nick did. Nick gave me a shot. It was very small, but he gave me a shot. And then I was going to be in line to be able to become the next offensive coordinator. But I saw the NFL and said, you know what? That's where I belong. And then he gave you another shot to be able to come back. You are a loyal disciple who was able to establish a great relationship, rewrite the entire book of Sark in the world of college football, and now transform a team that everyone has been waiting to see come back to glory, back to its dominant days, into a legit contender. First Big 12 conference championship since 2009. First 12-win season since 2009. Countless players are developed enough to make it into the NFL draft. You think for 1 second about Texas and these type of names, primarily in the trenches, offensive line, defensive line, linebackers being able to blitz, and what their roles have been in NFL draft communities. Day 3 pick, 7th round selection, practice squad player. That's not it anymore in Austin. You're going to have Byron Murphy hearing his name called somewhere in the top 20 picks. You're going to hear Adonai Mitchell, who was a breakout candidate this year simply by trusting what Sark had implemented to be able to come out and do these things. And same thing for Xavier Worthy and Jatavion Sanders. Tavondre Sweat, of all people, struck the Heisman pose, and some of us even said, invite the son of a gun to New York City. He's earned it for what he's been able to do. So the talent structure is built so similar to what you have at Alabama that Greg Byrne would be foolish not to make this phone call. He would be out of his mind not to consider his options. But Sark has the last say. Sark does. And here's the good news. Either way, he's walking into a great situation for 2024. Goes to Alabama. He's going to be able to swing as many players to stick around simply because of proof of concept. Number two, when the spring transfer portal window opens, he'll be able to run it through and land as many players that want to leave Austin to come follow him to Tuscaloosa. And also, he will have the backing and the support of the boosters, just like Nick did. There will be a cascade of green flowing through University Boulevard right in front of Bryant-Denny Stadium of the sums of money that Nick Saban had, that Steve Sarkisian will acquire. This is not about him wanting to replace the GOAT. This is about him making sure that he realizes whatever I do, I'm doing what's best for me. And he could stay in Austin. If he stays in Austin, Texas is going to be an immediate player in the SEC. They're going to be a contender to make the college football playoff once again in 2024. And they're also going to be a threat every single season to hoist up a national title. Sark currently is in the best win-win situation for himself possible. But for Texas and Alabama, they're both kind of sitting on pins and needles right now, wondering, please, can we go ahead and land Sark? Or please, don't take the best thing that's happened to us since 2009. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching that video. Don't hit the X button yet. Make sure you hit subscribe to keep up with all of our daily content found on Just Saying It and anything else that we post on this channel. Bye.